Okay, before we bring up, actually, I want to bring up Kumail because maybe he might have something to say about this. So let's bring out Kumail Nanjiani. I don't know if Kumail has. I don't know. I want to talk about Skeletor.
Oh yeah,
from the He-Man universe.
I've got opinions.
Skeletor, I've been researching because I always thought this was the case. When I was a kid, I would watch watch it as a rerun or whatever after school. It would be like between Inspector Gadget and Mork and Mindy or something like that. And I always thought this was the case, but as a 40-year-old, I recently looked back into this. Skeletor from the He-Man universe, the antagonist, the Darth Vader of the He-Man universe. He-Man, for those of you who don't know, was the alter ego of
Prince Adam,
of an identical man with a shirt on named Prince Adam,
who also had a very idiosyncratic looking. They had the same animal. Also,
yeah, I mean, as if having the same head and body
wasn't
recognizable enough. He also accompanied the
There's
same
only
color.
One giant green cat in this kingdom.
Skeletor was the Darth Vader to this character in this universe. Eternia, I think was the name of the world. I always remember Skeletor lived in, I think, in a place called Snake Mountain.
That's correct.
He was obsessed with beating He-Man.
Yep.
And He-Man's mentor, or
the sorceress,
his Athena, the sorceress, who had eagle hair and a beak head or something, and she lived in a place called Castle Grayskull.
That's correct.
And Skeletor was always going on and on about how he wanted to be in Castle Grayskull.
Yep.
Which seemed appropriate. And I looked it up.
Because Snake Mountain sounds like a terrible place. Like, don't buy a house at Snake Mountain.
Skeletor used to live in Castle Grayskull, according to the mythology of the...
Wait, he couldn't pay the rent? What happened?
He got, evicted. He got
evicted from Castle Grayskull. You're saying this is the origin story.
He didn't get, a slip on his door.
You have to pay the rent, but I can't pay the rent.
He used to live in Castle Grayskull.
Yeah. I guess I didn't know that. Well, speaking of,
it's his rightful home.
Oh, he used to live there. He didn't live there with them. He lived there on his own.
It was his place.
So this is
it's a skull. It makes sense. He lived in a skull. He would drive up, and he probably left the door unlocked because he figured, who would steal this from me?
This is some Israel-Palestine shit.
Yeah, you said it, not me.
Fucking A, right.
I didn't want to say it, and have you jump on me.
No. I would have agreed.
This is some shit that blew my mind. And here's the other thing that blows my mind. Who used to live in Snake Mountain? I mean, there's some snake guy living in a honeycomb displacing the bee ore.
Buzz Off was his name.
Yeah, all right.
His name was Buzz Off. There was a giant bee person.
How far down what size hill does this shit roll? I just... Come on.
Also, the big problem I have with it is... Okay, so if there's a whole race of people who are like Skeletor, why is his name Skeletor?
Well, I don't know that there's a race of people.
Well, there was one race of all people who had mosquito faces, but you only knew one, and his name was Mosquitor. Are all the others just like Ed and Jared and stuff like that?
Did you meet all the mosquito people in the streets?
You see him once, it's me and it's all these people, and they all have mosquito faces, and he's like, I'm Mosquitor. That's Gerald. So the naming was always threw me off, even as a little kid.
There's people named Manfred.
Like Man and Fred.
Yeah, right.
Well, his name is He-Man. That's the most redundant name ever.
Yeah.
He-Man really falls apart if you really look at it. It's also that was one.
Poor Skeletor. I was looking. I was browsing around and I saw a Skeletor package that was Skeletor scuba gear. You could buy a special Skeletor that had a scuba pack.
Yep.
And I just thought that was so. It made me realize all those years Skeletor was the good guy. This guy is he's going I'm gonna get He-Man. I'm gonna go through the water and ruin his fishing trip, and probably there was a fish man, there was a merman or something that probably went, I can do that, and he's like, you know what, I got this. That's a good villain.
His name was Merman. There was a guy named Merman who lived in the... You're amazing at this.
Thank you.
What about... Was Ram Man in there?
Ram Man was in there. He was a porn star.
I had the Ram Man toy. And
his legs would go. Yeah, he would like go up. Yeah,
he was a good guy, right? Yeah.
Ram Man was a good guy.
And was it Battle Cat and Cringer?
Cringer was the I know everything about He-Man except for the eviction.
How old are you?
Backstory. I'm 33.
33. And were you old enough to watch the cartoons?
I watched the cartoons. That was the biggest, most disillusioning thing was last year I found a DVD set for $3. I was like, oh my God, this cartoon. So I watched it, and I was like, oh, I must have been a dumb shit as a kid because it's so bad. That cartoon, some stuff holds up, but that one, they use the same animation.
Yeah,
so
it's really incomplete.
He-Man always walks right to left, and he bounces up and down, and they work that into every episode multiple
Yeah, well,
times.
because it was such expensive looking animation, it looked almost rotoscoped. He would always, and then he would fight his evil twin, and they would just flip the image.
Well, what's also funny, he had an evil twin. They made a robot cyborg. His name was Fakor.
Fakor, yeah. But worst name ever.
Who looked just like He-Man, except he was blue with orange hair.
Yeah.
You're not fooling anyone.
Except in a world where Prince Adam is Clark Kent.
He's like, hey,
maybe
He-Man,
everyone in that universe is weird, has a weird.
They all have that
prosopagnosia.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you're going through the trouble of making a fucking android to replace the main guy, make him the same hue as the main guy.
Yeah.
Even his hair was a different color. So many missteps.
What was Skeletor's mission? What did he want
to get his home back? And it makes me cry.
Really? That was
he wanted his home back.
Yeah,
he wasn't the villain.
It was the power of Grayskull, right?
His home. That's what the power of having a home.
But that's what they called it. Is he wanted the power of Grayskull, but he just wanted his house back. Yeah.
His house back. The power of home.
Well, he wanted to rule all of Eternia also, which I'm I wanted to see the series where he wins and he rules Eternia, but then it's just him doing paperwork and taxes and being this is not as easy.
So what was He-Man's role in this universe? He was there to keep Skeletor out of his home?
He's half human, half Eternian, and that is bestiality. Because his mom is Earthling and his dad is Eternian, which is bestiality. Which is also what Superman and Lois Lane is. That's bestiality.
What do you mean bestiality?
They're different species. Why are they fucking?
Well, different species aren't beasts. I mean, it's
no, but that's what other two species have sex and we're all right, that's fine.
A giraffe and an otter.
That's the only example.
No, but I mean, if sentient species,
Is it bestiality if a horse fucks like a donkey?
Yes.
Whoa.
Well, actually, a horse's fucking horse is bestiality. Because they're
As long as one beast is involved.
Exactly.
Wow. Huh. We've learned a lot. Do you guys know He-Man? Yeah.
It's pretty easy to catch up if you just do a cursory Googling.
There were a whole race of snake people in there, and I bet they
used to live in Snake Mountain.
Yeah, because they don't always get along with Skeletor, so I bet that's what it was.
It's gotta be it.
Shit. So are you saying Skeletor is like the Palestinians?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. I'm saying he was displaced from a place he previously occupied, and I mean, is it politically controversial?
Baby, tell him what you were saying in the car.
Slamming the steering wheel. It's just like the Palestinians. I mean, I guess they share that. Yeah, I'm saying I feel bad for Skeletor. Okay, that's what I'm saying.
He just looks like a bad guy, and that was his only mistake. He's also, speaking of gay, he's straight up gay on that show. Skeletor is a gay man.
How do you mean?
Well, I mean, not to be the way he literally, first of all, dresses like a gay man who's just learned to be gay from the internet or something. So does He-Man, by the way.
Well,
He-Man is straight
everybody
up
on that show
with a fur underwear and leather halter top.
He's always surrounding himself by boners. With boners.
Yes.
Bones.
All right.
Does he look like... No, I'm going to stick with this. He looks like a skeleton, right? With a hood?
He's got a skull for a head, yeah.
Right,
yeah, but he's like a skeleton who works out because he's super buff.
What are his powers? Is he just strong?
He has like a stick that
He has a
He has a
staff.
stick.
glows.
What?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
That surprises people? Are there powers?
Yeah, it's
in
a
the
magic stick.
Also known as a wand.
It's bigger than a wand. It's a staff. He's got
Oh.
a staff.
Spencer, you're right.
Yeah. No, he has a scuba equipment.
Yeah, Skeletor.
Drunk Spencer.
They did that to sell more. They would just have more like mountain climbing He-Man and shit like that.
They did that with Superman. Like Superman used to be able to like be in space, and then for a while he couldn't, so they could sell like the Superman space outfit.